The political landscape of Bangladesh has once again been shaken by a development that revisits one of the darkest chapters in the country's recent history. 16 years after the brutal mutiny inside the Bangladesh Rifles (BDR) headquarters, a revolt that left 74 people dead, most of them senior army officers. A new commission has concluded that former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina personally ordered the killings. This finding has reignited old controversies, deepened political divides, and cast new shadows over regional geopolitics, especially the country's relationship with India. The mutiny, which erupted in February 2009 and spread rapidly across multiple districts, had long been officially attributed to pent-up grievances among soldiers who felt undervalued and ignored. But the latest revelation challenges that narrative entirely, proposing instead that the revolt was not an explosive outburst of frustration, but a carefully coordinated political project backed by influential actors within and beyond Bangladesh. For many citizens, the report has reopened painful memories, forcing the country to confront questions it had long chosen to avoid. The new commission, formed by the interim government of Muhammad Yunus after Hasina was ousted last year, has directly implicated the former premier, along with key members of her Awami League government, in engineering the mutiny. At 78, Hasina remains in India, where she sought refuge shortly after the student-led uprising removed her from power. Despite repeated court orders demanding her return to face legal proceedings, she has refused to go back, citing threats to her safety and alleging political persecution. The commission's chair, ALM Fazlur Rahman, stated that Hasina gave the green signal for the operation, while former Awami League parliamentarian Fazli Noor Taposh acted as the principal coordinator. These are serious allegations that go far beyond political rhetoric. They suggest that the massacre, widely considered a devastating blow to the upper ranks of the military, was not a failure of discipline, but a targeted attempt to weaken the officer corps and consolidate political control at a time when the Awami League was strengthening its grip on state institutions. Supporters of the interim government argue that the country is now witnessing long-suppressed truths finally surfacing, while Awami League loyalists dismiss the commission as a tool of political vengeance. Alongside the allegations against Hasina, one of the most explosive elements of the Commission's report is its assertion that India played a strong and evident role in the events of 2009. Rahman claimed that a foreign actor clearly referencing India was involved in destabilizing Bangladesh and weakening the Bangladesh army by supporting political actors aligned with New Delhi's strategic objectives. According to him, the mutiny was not an isolated incident, but part of a broader effort by external forces to reshape the internal balance of power within Bangladesh. This claim, though lacking publicly disclosed evidence, taps into long-standing suspicions held by segments of Bangladeshi society who believe India exerts excessive influence over their domestic politics. India has historically been one of Hasina's staunchest allies, supporting her government diplomatically and economically. The Commission's accusations, therefore, strike at the heart of the bilateral relationship. As of now, New Delhi has not issued an official response. Its silence only adds to the atmosphere of uncertainty, speculation, and the growing belief among some Bangladeshis that the political ground beneath them is shifting in unpredictable ways. For ordinary Bangladeshis, the memory of the 2009 mutiny remains vivid. The revolt began at the BDR headquarters in Dhaka during an annual gathering and quickly spiraled into a massacre. Officers were taken hostage, tortured, and executed, with some bodies later found in mass graves. The violence spread to other districts as soldiers either joined the rebellion or acted independently in defiance of central command. At the time, Hasina's government launched a rapid crackdown after negotiating a ceasefire, and courts later handed down hundreds of convictions, including dozens of death sentences. Yet even then, opposition leaders and critics claimed that the official explanation, disgruntlement over pay scales and working conditions, left too many unanswered questions. They argued that the scale, coordination, and brutality of the mutiny pointed to more than just internal frustration. Even retired officers suggested that the attack appeared unusually targeted, raising suspicions of political manipulation. But in a political environment tightly controlled by the Awami League, alternative narratives struggled to gain traction or public visibility. The release of the Commission's findings has significant political implications, both domestically and regionally. Bangladesh's fragile political balance is now under added strain, with old narratives being dismantled and new ones emerging amid a tense transitional period. Interim Prime Minister Muhammad Yunus, a longtime critic of Hasina's governance style, has welcomed the report as a long overdue step toward transparency. He remarked that the truth has finally been revealed, a sentence that many in Bangladesh interpret as both a critique of the Awami League and an assertion of a new political order. However, the findings could also inflame divisions within the military, which has historically been wary of political interference but remains an influential institution in national governance. Regionally, the implied accusation against India risks complicating an already strained relationship. Since Hasina's ouster, Dhaka New Delhi ties have deteriorated, with mutual suspicions rising over issues ranging from trade and water disputes to political asylum. The Commission's report will likely amplify those tensions, especially if India responds defensively or if the interim government takes concrete steps to pursue international accountability. As Bangladesh absorbs the shock of these revelations, many questions remain unanswered, and political uncertainty continues to loom over the country's future. Hasina's supporters insist the accusations are part of a politically motivated campaign to erase her legacy and dismantle the Awami League's influence. Her critics argue that this is merely the beginning of a long-delayed reckoning with abuses of power, authoritarian tendencies, and foreign manipulation. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens, many of whom lived through the fear and confusion of 2009, are left to make sense of the shifting narrative. The Commission's report may reshape public understanding of the mutiny, but it also opens a new era of political contestation that could define Bangladesh's trajectory for years to come. With India yet to comment, Hasina still in refuge, and the interim government preparing for a difficult transition toward elections, the fallout from these findings is far from over. What is clear is that the 2009 massacre, once seen as a tragic anomaly, has returned to the center of Bangladesh's political discourse, carrying with it the weight of unresolved history, geopolitical tensions, and a nation still searching for accountability. And in the months ahead, the debate over responsibility, manipulation, and the future of Bangladesh's democracy will only intensify.